Well, it's another day, another 7:44 start. Liking this. I'm actually writing the blurbs like between 6:30ish, somewhere around there. And after my meditation, and then I wait for the kids to go off to school with their mom and my daughter, of course, to work. And then I sit down at the computer and start getting myself ready for making the next video. This is the third day in a row I've followed that procedure. It may not be that way tomorrow. Who knows? My life is very erratic at the moment and very unpredictable. Ironically, I had a friend yesterday evening call me and want to take me out and buy me supper because he's been listening to my videos. I'm obviously a local friend. And we went out and shared a meal at the Mexican restaurant close by. And I had a friend that actually the day before call, and there's a Reiki master and a Diksha giver, and one of the Diksha and one of the instructors who's actually been to India and whatnot. And he offered to get together with me with another friend and not only do some energy work with me, but there are some people in the local community, is the point that I'm making, that are showing concern having listened to some of my videos. So I just am letting you know that, and that's appreciated, although my friend that was going to do the Diksha and stuff was supposed to call me yesterday and didn't. And I don't push people. They either do what they say they're going to do or they don't. I don't push them. I receive what comes and let go what doesn't. Anyway, the title for today's message is Non-Interference. Does God lack an immune system? Non-interference is supposedly God's policy in regard to Earth, or so Dolores Cannon and other spiritual teachers have told us again and again. Suppose our bodies had that policy. Put another way, imagine being without an immune system to ward off pathogens that, left unchecked, would wreak havoc with our well-being. We would die, in most cases a very painful death. Well, if that's God's policy in regard to Mother Earth, can Father Sky not see that Gaia is being destroyed by a malignant disorder? Personally, I think it's high time for a policy review. Those of us who are awake to the travesties of the Matrix need to demand, not ask, the Creator to wake up too. The idea of God being love is at stake here. Love, as I see it anyway, would not stand by and merely watch creation go to hell. People send me videos all the time. And yesterday I received a video from a friend that is almost 2 hours long, and I listened to it. I didn't watch it. I listened to it while I was doing other things. It was Dolores Cannon Presents Moving into the New Earth, and it was from December 11th, published on December 11th, 2012. So it's over a year old. But what caught my attention, among other things, is her again reiterating the policy, which she says is the divine policy of non-interference. And so that triggered a thought pattern and a thought process that has gone on into this morning and throughout the night. Another very poor night's sleep for me. I don't think at any point did I sleep more than an hour and a half. I might have slept somewhere in that vicinity twice, maybe 3 times, who knows. But I don't get much sleep lately. And people say it's turn off the electricity. Well, I can't do that. And it has been worse, I have to admit. It's been worse since I installed Wi-Fi in the house. I didn't used to have Wi-Fi. I don't like wireless stuff in my house, but because of my daughter and her family living here, and they all have their cell phones, and their computer is at the other end of the house, and I don't want to run wires through my ceiling, so I have Wi-Fi. I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, but there's been a lot of interference in my sleep patterns. But this idea of God or of creator or of creation, having a policy of non-interference, to me has reached the point of absurdity and insanity. And I drew the illustration of what would happen if our bodies had that same policy. None of us would survive very long. In fact, we probably wouldn't even be here today. The human race would not have survived. In fact, life would not have survived. There is a natural immune system built into creation. So if a natural immune system is built into creation, why isn't that same immune system built into Earth and to the things that go on Earth? Why are malignant beings allowed to interfere with the patterns of life at will, without being challenged, without being resisted by any greater force? They become the greatest force. The pathogens, the pathological liars, the psychopaths, the sociopaths. These are the people that have risen to the top and wrested control of the earth away from all the people that have good hearts and good intentions. The malevolence has run rampant and gained a position on this planet, in this world, of supremacy. That's the matrix that we live in. What the hell is God going to do about it? Now, we are told by our spiritual teachers, and I wonder how much of this spiritual teaching is reality and how much of it's just plain bullshit, because some of it just doesn't add up. But especially this non-interference thing, it doesn't register as a reasonable thing or something that a loving creator would do. Yet it does seem to be the bill of goods that we've bought into, right? They have the divine right to rule, so they can be tyrants and sickos. They can be and do what they do. And it's okay. That's what we've been told. It's okay because God wanted to have it presented the greatest contrast at the expense of life itself. But you say, Ron, death is not real. Life continues to go on despite the manifestations. Well, then, was manifestation a mistake? Was physical form created a mistake of the Creator? If that doesn't matter, if it doesn't matter that we allow destroyers to come in and wantonly destroy without remedy, without being given a chance for good to thrive, things don't make sense. Things just simply don't make sense. That there's been worlds that have come in and Creator just allowed them to be destroyed and wiped out and start over again from scratch. Huh? That's creation? That's evolution? That's insane to me. Why would you create something only to allow it to be destroyed by ignorance, by willful lust for power, and a misplaced ego run rampant in a group of people or a group of beings that are sick and demented and insane? Why would you allow that in a good creation if you were a loving God? Now people say, well, God wanted to allow us to experience the dark side. Okay, well, we've experienced the dark side. How much more experience do we need to get it? That it's sick, that it's insane, that it's crazy. How much more experience do we need of this dark side running rampant and running over what we understand as our unalienable rights? The truths that are self-evident to the honest heart, that all beings are granted by their Creator rights to life, liberty, the pursuit of pleasure and happiness, the pursuit of experience, the pursuit of a loving existence. Why? Why would we allow the interference by some with the masses of people? and allow the brainwashing and mind control of whole civilizations for centuries upon centuries into millennia. Why would we think that this is a good thing? Well, maybe we were too ignorant to question it, but I'm questioning it today. And I've been questioning God for a long time in my life. Why God? Not just why me, but why anybody? Why does anybody have to go through this? And you say, well, it's karma, Ron. It's karma. Don't you get it? It's karma. If there's only now, where does karma fit? Now, that's another teaching. There's only now. There's no past, no future. There's only now. Well, then where does karma fit in? Where does prophecy fit in? Are they just more spiritual lies and hocus pocus to divert our attention from the bigger picture? Because if there's only now, then you don't look at then and make a connection how then affects now, because there is no then, there's only now. Well, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Life, in order to experience life, there has to be time. Time is not an illusion. Time has to be the way it is, because there has to be a sequence. And sequences have a past, present, and future. Now, you say, Ron, that's linear thinking. And that's what all the channelers are telling us. We got to get out of our linear thinking. Well, maybe the linear thinking is also spiral thinking. But it's a spiral that goes, it's a line that curves. It's not a straight line, it's a curved line. But there's still points of time along that line. Or, put another way, points of experience. Now, we've experienced the non-interference policy, where God has allowed, if you will, God has allowed a malignancy, not just on Mother Earth, not just on Gaia, but if what we're being told is true, it's being allowed in the universe. Well, why would God want to create a sick universe? Why? And if it was a mistake that the universe became sick, why would God not want to correct it? And you say, Ron, you're talking as if God is personal. God is not personal. Well, to me, love is personal. I'm sorry. And it doesn't register for me that God is impersonal, because impersonal can't love. Impersonal doesn't care. Impersonal is not only non-interference, it's insane. It's insane. It's missing an important part of itself. Does God lack an immune system? Does creation lack an immune system? Are the creation and the creator one, as I believe is true? Is God truly all that is? Or is there something that's not God? Is there something else that's not really God? I think there needs to be a real examination, not only of this policy that we're told is the policy of heaven, but we need to examine all of our spiritual beliefs. All of this bullshit that comes down to us as teachings from the masters, if you will, or from extraterrestrials, or from channeled information. Who does it benefit to say that God doesn't interfere? Who does that benefit? Who does that policy or that doctrine benefit? If not the psychopaths. If not those that wish ill. It doesn't benefit those that wish good, that are benevolent beings. It benefits only those that are malevolent beings, because it diverts the attention and says, well, it must be God's will. Here it is, it must be God's will. Bullshit! God's will. Is it God's will that we destroy ourselves again? Is it God's will that these sick people continue to hold the reins of power, continue to hold the reins of prosperity, continue to hold the reins of peace, continue to hold the reins of life itself? Is God a malevolent being and not a benevolent being? I don't buy that, I'm sorry. But looking at the world, I would say something is really wrong with God, because something is really wrong with the creation of God. Something is sick, and it seems to be the lack of an immune system that works to fight off pathogens the way the immune system was designed in our body. So these are the thoughts that have been going through my mind. These are the things that I'm exploring. And I don't know where the hell I'm going. I don't know how I'm going to get to where I want to be, which is a world that works for everybody. I don't know. But each day, things come along my path that trigger my thought, that trigger my feelings, that trigger my soul. And these are the things that have been triggered in the past 24 hours. And I share them with you today. And hopefully, this can be a catalyst to trigger some of your own thoughts and feelings and questions. And it's time that we all are willing to start questioning what we call God. Because if God is God, then God is the ultimate responsibility. Not us individually, but God is the ultimate responsibility for all creation. That's the way I see it. Think about it and have a good day. Namaste.